So I want to start this topic by recommending that you go and subscribe to a YouTuber named Brett Coleman. Brett Coleman is unbelievable. I found his channel the other day, and I was just blown away. He does NFL draft film breakdowns. He takes young NFL prospects. He talks about their strengths, breaks them down 100%. It's fascinating. He's really good. He's better than I am at it. Like I can do quarterbacks really well. He does linebacker. He does everything. And I'm just like, dude, freaking well done, man. This guy, Brett Coleman, knows what he's talking about. And I watched Brett Coleman's 2 videos about potential 49er draft picks, Tremaine Edmunds and Roquan Smith. And I was blown away. He pointed out stuff I'd never noticed, things I just didn't. I don't really take the time to watch linebacker film, I'll be honest. I watched his videos. I was like, wow, thank you for putting everything in a nutshell. I really appreciated it. So again, this is basically just a repost of Brett Coleman. Go watch him. If I'm going to talk about what he said, I got to tell you, this is his research, not mine. Brett Coleman did a great job. So when I watched Brett Coleman's videos, what I learned was Tremaine Edmunds is basically a super athlete. Tremaine Edmunds is unbelievable. He's similar to Rob Gronkowski, where a guy who's 6'5", 250 pounds, a guy that big, that strong, should not be as athletic as Tremaine Edmunds is. Tremaine Edmunds is like a superhero. It's crazy. Tremaine Edmunds is so big, yet he's so fast. He can run with guys that are slot receivers. Tremaine Edmunds most linebackers, you use him against the run. If the team offense brings out more wide receivers, they split more guys out wide, you have to bring in another corner from the sideline because you need a faster guy to run with a slot receiver. However, Tremaine Edmunds is so quick and so good, he can run with slot receivers. That's unheard of. So the potential for Tremaine Edmunds is out the roof. I mean, Tremaine Edmunds is an unbelievable athlete. Tremaine Edmunds is unbelievable. The problem is, and you knew this was coming, the problem with Tremaine Edmunds is that he is undisciplined. I mean, to this point in his life, Tremaine Edmunds has always been able to rely on his athletic ability. He's been undisciplined. He makes mistakes, and he makes up for it because he's so much better of an athlete than everybody else he's played against. He can take bad steps. He can screw up reads and still run down a guy and make up for it. So here's the thing. Tremaine Edmunds is a 19-year-old project. He's 19 years old, and he's a guy you're going to have to invest heavily in. The word potential always scares me. Like Cam Newton has a ton of potential. Not a lot of it's been realized. DeShone Kizer, I mean, Cam Newton's done well. DeShone Kizer's a guy coming out of the draft. Everybody talked about how much potential DeShone Kizer had. I heard a pundit say, DeShone Kizer could be the best quarterback in this draft. His physical tools are unbelievable. The problem is DeShone Kizer's a terrible quarterback. He sucks. He doesn't do the work. He goes out and parties at 1 a.m. He's not very good. He might have all the potential in the world. DeShone Kizer could be maybe the most physically gifted quarterback in the league. The problem is he's no good. He doesn't cultivate that very well. That's the problem with potential. Potential is not really tangible. It's just an idea. Tremaine Edmunds could totally fail. It's high risk, high reward. Now, in contrast, Roquan Smith, the linebacker from Georgia, is reliable. He's not as good. Roquan Smith is really small. And the biggest issue with Roquan Smith is this. Roquan Smith cannot play interior linebacker. Roquan Smith is a one-trick pony. He plays outside linebacker. He's fast. He's small. That's it. You cannot put Roquan Smith as a middle linebacker. He's going to get run over. Teams will run inside run plays, and linemen will come. They will block him. They will run him over. They will push him off the point of attack. Roquan Smith cannot take on linemen. He's not strong enough. He's not big enough. So Roquan Smith is, and only is, a weak side linebacker. He's got one job. That's all he can do. But the difference is, with Roquan Smith, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting, if you put him at that role, you're getting an NFL starter. With Tremaine Edmunds, you have all this potential, and you don't necessarily have a guy who can play at a high level. So Roquan Smith is incredibly vulnerable because Roquan Smith needs help. If you're going to draft Roquan Smith, you'd better have a really good interior linebacker. You can't draft Roquan Smith and put him in the middle. He cannot play that position. So it makes me ask the question, who should the 49ers choose? I mean, look, I'm a guy that I always take the sure bet. I go to Starbucks, not because I love their coffee, but because every time I show up to Starbucks, whether I'm in Arizona, New York, Brazil, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, I know if I'm going to Starbucks, the cup of coffee is exactly the same everywhere. It might be a crappy piece of coffee. It might be 6 out of 10. But I know without a shadow of a doubt exactly what I'm getting. I'm a guy who likes dependability. I like reliability. My fear if I draft Tremaine Edmunds is that he could fail. But the other fear is if I don't draft Tremaine Edmunds, say I don't draft Tremaine Edmunds, he goes to the Seahawks. He becomes the greatest linebacker of all time, and I could have had him, and yet I passed on him. That's a huge, scary thing. Here's what I believe. Here's my belief. I would actually draft Tremaine Edmunds, which is an uncharacteristic thing, something I would not normally do. Again, I like dependability. I like reliability. Normally, I would never mess with drafting a guy like Tremaine Edmunds. But with Reuben Foster's questionable presence in the 49ers organization, the 49ers are going to need an interior linebacker. Tremaine Edmunds is incredibly flexible. Roquan Smith is not. Let's say Reuben Foster's allowed to come back to the NFL. You put him in the middle. Well, Tremaine Edmunds can go anywhere. You can literally use Tremaine Edmunds at any position you want. He's so athletic and gifted. Whereas Roquan Smith is a one-trick pony. You can't do that with Roquan Smith. I would 100% choose Tremaine Edmunds. I would. He's a riskier pick. He's a scary pick. But it comes down to this. I trust the 49ers coaching staff. I trust they can take a 19-year-old kid and mold him into an incredible linebacker. Because I'll tell you what, if the Seahawks drafted Tremaine Edmunds, oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Tremaine Edmunds is the next big thing. Because the guy's so talented. He just needs coaching. He needs to have a good attitude. He needs to work hard and listen to coaching. And if he does that, Tremaine Edmunds is unbelievable. So if the 49ers, and hopefully when the 49ers draft Tremaine Edmunds, I'm going to have low expectations. Tremaine Edmunds is 19 years old. He's a project. But I would draft Tremaine Edmunds and I would mold him. That's scary because look, if you're going to draft a first-round guy, you got to draft it. You have to land. You cannot miss on first-round draft picks. And the truth is, Tremaine Edmunds potentially could be a miss. But his potential is also, out the roof. He could be the best linebacker in the NFL if and only if you can coach him up. So, I don't know. I trust John Lynch and the 49ers. If they do draft Tremaine Edmunds, I'm going to say, look, they clearly see something. They see what everybody sees. They believe they can mold him into a great, great linebacker. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to do all the work they need to. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. If they pick Roquan Smith, I will not be furious. I'll understand because Roquan Smith is more dependable. You know what you're getting. But the sky is the limit with Tremaine Edmunds, and Tremaine Edmunds is more flexible. You can use him in more places. You need an interior linebacker. Tremaine Edmunds is the only guy between Roquan Smith and Tremaine Edmunds that could work. There's another guy from Boise State. Maybe you could get him later, early in the second round, later in the first round, if you trade down. Regardless, I don't know. But I really, really like Tremaine Edmunds. He's an incredible athlete. He's 6'5", 250, moves like Rob Gronkowski. He's the only guy you could put one-on-one with Rob Gronkowski and maybe win. I would draft Tremaine Edmunds. Even though it's risky, even though that scares me, that's what I would do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about the show on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. If you understand Reddit, that'd be a big help. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by sharing it with your friends. And if you really love Strong Opinion Sports, you can subscribe on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Google Play, everywhere you find podcasts. Subscribe and help me grow by telling your friends about Strong Opinion Sports.